Joining me now, Sam Nunberg, who was one of Trump's advisors when Trump was first pitching birtherism. He helped advise Trump on the strategy. They've since parted ways. And former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner. Sam, let me start with you. The last time I had you on, you wanted to make clear to me that you weren't a birther. Given Donald Trump today sort of making it official, there's a consensus now, I would hope. Hillary Clinton's called for Trump to apologize. Do you feel like you should apologize for the role that you played in this very long episode that's had incredibly destructive effects in terms of people's belief systems across the country?
Well, no, I don't think I should apologize. Look, this was a political issue. It was, and by the way, frankly, we should be fair to your audience. I mean, it was just reported yesterday, as you may have saw, the former McClatchy bureau chief in D.C. said that Sidney Blumenthal had brought this up to him. And it was floating around out there, and we simply put a voice to it. And now, in terms of it...
Yes. No, you didn't. But Sam, I'm sorry, you didn't simply put a voice to it. I mean, this was a crusade. This was a strategic decision made to raise the profile of Donald Trump by pursuing this, and it has had real effects. It has created a false belief. 60% of Trump supporters believe the president wasn't born in the United States, is ergo illegitimate to hold the office.
And unfortunately, on the other hand, well, not unfortunately, excuse me. Fortunately, on the other hand, as of now, I mean, the majority of Americans don't support this. And in fact, by the way, Chris, the one thing we can say about America is it simply doesn't work. And that's why Donald today had to come out there and say that Barack Obama was born in the United States. It's not a winning issue right now. Look, any day that Donald Trump is talking about Barack Obama on the campaign trail is the day he's losing. And the same CNN poll that came out, Chris, where he was beating Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama has a 58% approval rating. You know, he's a modern day political anomaly to me. And
Nina, you're shaking your head. I want to get your response.
Listen, President Barack Obama does not need Mr. Trump to legitimize him. The fact that Mr. Trump did that for 5 whole years, the fact that some people still believe to this day that it is true that somehow the president might not be an American citizen just baffles my mind, and it really feeds into some of the underlying racism that still exists in this country, Chris, that is by and far even bigger than Mr. Trump, because Mr. Trump is one person. He is responsible as a leader for his rhetoric, but the fact that that poll that you just showed, that so many people still believe that there might be a chance that he wasn't born in this country, and furthermore, the impact that something like that has on the president's family. We heard the first lady, you know, her feelings, the feelings of the first children. There is something wrong in this country that is bigger than Mr. Trump, and dare I say, he beat out 16 other Republicans in this country. He didn't put a sleeper move on folks. He won the primary, and here we are talking about this 5 years later. It is deplorable in every sense of the way, but what else also deplorable is the racism that is still going on in this country, and we have got to have some type of coming to Jesus meeting in this country about how people feel about the African-American community still, and African-American leadership even further than that. President Obama has had to endure, in my opinion, more than any other president would have to ordinarily endure, and it wasn't just about issue debates. It really was about the color of his skin. Newsflash, African Americans have known that from the beginning.
Sam, do you understand that this was racist? Do you get that now?
I understand why people would consider it racist, but frankly, from the polling I saw, Chris, and for your audience to understand, this really, frankly, the resonating issue, to be honest with you, was the fact of the Muslim name. It really had not...
Oh, my God. The president is not responsible for the name of his parents.
I'm just telling you why the... Excuse me.
Oh, my God.
I'm just telling you why the issue resonated.
Do you think he was a Muslim?
No.
Personally.
No, he's not a Muslim. He's
wait a second. This is you on your Facebook page, all right? This is you talking about the Kenyan age of Kenyan socialism. This is you calling him a pan-Arabist Marxist Muslim, talking about Kenyan healthcare. I mean, you're on your Facebook page back 2007, 2008. You were saying all the kinds of things that makes me think you actually believe this stuff. It wasn't just tactical.
Look, I think that the problem is that in this country is the fact that...
Wait, no, Sam, respond to that. I'm asking you about yourself. You played a role in this. I'm asking about public statements you made on your Facebook page, calling him a Marxist, pan-Arabist Marxist Muslim, talking about Kenyan socialism. Did you believe these things? I'm trying to get at the base of these belief systems that it seems at times you expressed yourself.
I'll tell you one thing. I don't believe those now. I think that was a heated time, and you know, it was the rise of the Tea Party, and as well as other things going on in the radio, and then, you know, there was a lot of problems with the economy. I regret those. I was fired by the campaign for those Facebook posts. I've apologized. Reverend Sharpton forgave me for them, and I certainly don't. And if anything like that is not emblematic. But once again, just to go to the point, I'm just saying, from my perspective and from the polling we saw, it wasn't that I don't think it was that he was an African American. It was the issue was the name itself. That was frankly it. That's why we thought that it resonated.
But do you understand? Yeah, Nina, go ahead.
I'm not telling you whether
I'm just saying, we got a long way to go in this country. It is ridiculous, and even if he was a Muslim, that is allowed in America. You know, that kind of stuff also came up in 2008. This is still a very serious issue in this country. We do have to really do something about racism and discrimination in this country and own that. And it's just not okay. And just to say, and I don't think anybody should take Mr. Trump for granted to think that people are not. Listen, he won that primary. There's a very real chance that he could become the next president of the United States of America. We need to deal with these kinds of issues. It is not okay in this country in the 21st century to accept that kind of racism, no matter who it comes from. And if you are running to be the leader of the free world, he should have denounced that kind of stuff a long time ago. This is not. It's deplorable, Chris, is what it is.
Sam, let me say this. I mean, I'm listening to you sort of speak as an analyst, and the last time you were on, you talked about this, and I thought it was fascinating, and I appreciated that you were sort of sharing your insight. But there's a certain kind of like moral arm's length you're taking from this whole thing that makes me feel like it hasn't landed to you what a Pandora's box this thing is, what it means to Americans, what it means to not just African Americans, but all kinds of Americans to have this individual pursue this racist conspiracy theory in front of the entire nation, to have it take hold and have him elevated, what that means about what you did, what you played a role in doing.
Look, I did not create this controversy. This existed long before Donald Trump decided that he was going to run. And once again,
but you stoked it. You
stoked it. You know who also helped stoke it? If we want to talk about that, frankly, the Clintons did.
That is, I'm sorry, but
the Clintons did. The Sidney Blumenthal.
Sam,
yes.
This is moral cowardice. It really is. For people to get up who spent as much time as Donald Trump did stoking this publicly and point at the Clintons, and there were Clinton operatives who occasionally stopped things around. There was all sorts of dirty stuff in the background, but they're just not on the same par. They're just not.
Which was wrong too.
It seems. Exactly, and it seems to me like it's just a way of avoiding responsibility. I'm just asking you to take responsibility for what you're part of.
Okay, sure, I take responsibility for it. And let me just tell you something else. It didn't work. It frankly didn't work, and it hasn't worked. And you know what? It wasn't working at the time when it happened either. As you recall, not only did he produce his birth certificate, but then he killed Osama bin Laden that Sunday.
Right.
So,
I mean, the grand irony here is that. Yes, and the grand irony, and that's, I think, a good point, Sam. I mean, the grand irony is that there's a sort of political explosion, I think, that happened today. We're going to be feeling the
this was not a good day for the Trump campaign, Chris. This is by no means a good day for the Trump campaign.
That is true. Sam Nunberg, thank you for coming on, Sam. I appreciate it. Nina, thank you as well.
Thanks, Chris.